to the stage too. Hey, what's up, everybody? We are here to talk about the Jesse Mack Butler case. We were having some technical difficulties a few moments ago. Basically, what was supposed to happen was it was supposed to be all set up, and then YouTube was supposed to record it. But what ended up happening was that it was not registered to YouTube for whatever reason. And so I wasn't going to be recorded. So I had to redo the whole thing because that's the whole point, right? We have to keep this thing up there so it's constantly going. Now, that being said, we have some updates in regard to Jesse Mack Butler. I know that there's a lot of people who have been wanting to know updates, wanting to know deeper parts of the story, especially as the story has gone much more viral. It has now become an international story. I've had people message me saying that, oh, we've heard about it on our news in the UK. We heard about it on our morning news in Oslo, Norway. I heard it. Somebody told me that it was trending at one point on various African, like in Africa, platforms. All right. Like various platforms in Africa. So that's absolutely crazy to me that it's that far away. So what's really great to me about that is that even though Jesse technically has not gotten any type of judicial accountability, he does have worldwide notoriety, and he can't really escape that. Now, before we get into everything, a couple things real quick. So this is streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and then TikTok's over here by you guys self. If you want, for my TikTok friends, if you want to see the photos and everything else that we have going on, you're definitely going to want to jump over to YouTube. And if while you're there, of course, make sure to hit that follow button. In fact, follow on whatever platform you're watching because we're trying to grow all these things up. Now, a few housekeeping items. Let me get my notes kind of here for things that we want to talk about because I want to make sure that we skip over nothing. And then I'm going to kind of tell you what we have going on because we are looking at possible accountability for the judge. Now, the first thing I want to show you guys right here is this. Okay, do me this favor. All right, can I add this to the stage? I want me to remove that first. All right. There we go. So I'm going to make this big, me little. This is a petition that I created last month, and it actually was born from this case. And that petition is to end plea deals for child predators. And it's a little bit more nuanced than that. It's really to end easy plea deals for child predators. People like Jesse, people like Brock Turner, people like Cannon Lee Dolly, people like, who that was the Brigham Young baseball player who got nothing after abusing a girl for like from between the ages of 7 and 12 for like 5 years. Don Stephen McDougal, who ultimately assaulted and then murdered 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham. All of those people were able to offend or reoffend, and they had either easy plea. Like for Audrey Cunningham's perpetrator, he got caught in bed with a 9-year-old girl taking her pants off. They pled him down to enticing a child. He didn't have to do any registry and ended up R-ing. We can't say the word. We got to be nice for social media. R-ing and murdering, taking the life of an 11-year-old girl because it wasn't there. So that is what this is designed to do. There's a lot more to it. I'm already in the ear of one lawmaker, and once I hit 100,000 signatures, which I'm not that far off, as you can see, we're just shy of 83,000. It'll be a huge help. Now, if you're depending on where you're watching this, this is linked in my profile. TikTok, Instagram, it's linked in my profile. Facebook, it's probably linked in the notes. YouTube, it's definitely linked in the show notes, but also on Facebook, it's a pinned comment where you can get to this. Takes literally less than 2 seconds to sign it. And your voice does matter. I promise you, we're talking to lawmakers on this. This is going to go farther. I have the reach and the contacts and the know-how to get this in front of people. And we're coming up on midterm season, and this would be a great thing for different politicians to utilize, as part of their action plan. So I think that we have a really good game plan going forward. So please sign it. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about too, and this is linked, I believe, on Facebook and on YouTube only. It's not on the other platforms, but there is a Facebook group created by my good friend, Dan. I'm not going to give you his last name, but Dan, he's known as Missing in USA on all handles on platforms. He created a group called Jesse Mack Butler Corruption in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Let me repeat that in case you guys want to join it. Jesse Mack Butler Corruption in Stillwater, Oklahoma. So you search for that. I think it has like a little over 2,000 members right now. It's a fairly new group, but if you want updates on this situation, everything that's going on, you definitely want to make sure that you join that group because it's telling everything. So The other things I want to talk about before we really kind of get into everything is the incredible attention that this has given, right? So this has been, we started on News Nation, Court TV's picked it up, Law and Crime has picked it up, Good Morning America, ABC Nightly News, Fox, People, CNN, also, I think TMZ actually posted about it the other day. So this is everywhere. There's even somebody, and I should have pulled this picture to show you guys. There's somebody in Oklahoma who bought a billboard with Jesse's photo on it, so people know exactly who and what he is. And I think that's incredible. In fact, even Christina Ricci, the actress, posted something about it the other day. So this is really everywhere. You can't, this type of notoriety, this type of accountability, you can't buy. This is phenomenal. I love this for him. Now, the other thing that I need you guys to know, if you are in or around the Stillwater, Oklahoma, or you don't mind traveling, as you can see from this thing I'm putting up here, on Saturday, November 5th, 2025 at 10 a.m. at the Oklahoma State Capitol. Sorry, this is not Stillwater because the Oklahoma State Capitol is, I don't know where that is. I should know. Somebody should tell me. I should know the capital of Oklahoma. Is it Oklahoma City? I don't know. Sorry, I'm ignorant there. My bad. But wherever the Oklahoma State Capitol is, there is going to be a protest rally at the Outdoor South, Oklahoma City. Okay, I was right. Thank you, Celeste. All right, Melissa, you're here too. Melissa's been instrumental at this as well. So anyways, definitely show up if you can. That's in Oklahoma City. That's on that date. You can definitely check that out. Now, let's get to what we're going to talk about here. All right. This guy. This pile of human trash. Jesse Mack Butler, now 18 years old. And we're going to talk about the accountability here in a second. I'm not going to give you the full background. Actually, let me start with this before I give you background, because I know there's people who want to know everything, and there's people who are like, hey, I just want to know kind of what's going on with the accountability. Without getting into too much detail quite yet, because I'm going to get into the weeds on it, but basically there is movement to pull a grand jury, put a grand jury together and indict the people involved in this case, from the judge to the district judge to some other people who were involved. And I will get into the more nuanced details of that here shortly. But that is what's going on. When I talk about there's a pretty big update, they are looking, and I'm going to tell you exactly how they're doing it. I'm going to tell you if you are in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and you're watching this, you're in Payne County specifically, Oklahoma, and you're watching this, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do to help that grand jury become reality. But in the meantime, that's kind of what they're looking for. All right. And apparently after that rally, I was just told there will be a meeting with some legislators at 1 p.m. So fantastic. All right. So if you are in Payne County, you're going to definitely want to listen as we get there, and I'll let you guys know when it's that time to listen to it. So now let me briefly introduce Jesse for those of you guys who don't know. So this is this picture is when he was probably 16 or 17, Jesse Mack Butler. All right. In this particular situation, what we had happen was two young girls came forward, both 16 years old. Both had been in a romantic relationship with him. One for, I think, 5 or 6 months. The other one for like 1 or 2 months, because she's like, they were both like, let's get the hell out of this. Basically, what happened was Jesse was abusive, and really beyond that. He was verbally, sexually, physically abusive to these girls. Okay. So what you all probably know is that, and I'll show you the charges here in a second. Again, if you're on TikTok, you can't see any of these pictures. You got to go to YouTube. But I'll show you the charges in a second. But basically what he did is there were actually 3 girls that we know of, 2 that came forward that basically said, hey, this is what happened. And he almost ended their lives. He strangled them. He forced himself on them. And you'll know a little bit more details on that in a moment. I've heard some graphic details that I would have rather not heard, but I didn't have to endure it, so I guess the least I can do is hear it. And he was arrested, right? They found evidence on his phone. He was looking down the barrel of 78 years. Next thing you know, judge comes in, and we're going to get more into detail on this again. Moves it to youthful offender. All of a sudden, 150 hours of community service. Okay. And if you don't know all of the charges yet, that will make a lot more sense as to why this is enraging. Okay. So let's go over the charges. I'm just going to put them up here. Let's just do it. These are the charges. Because of social media rules, I'm not gonna read them out loud, but you can read. There's 10 here, but there's actually an 11th one that's not listed here, and that 11th one was for violating a protective order, violating a PO against one of the girls. These are pretty heavy charges to look at. Again, TikTok friends, if you're not watching on YouTube, you can't see it. But this is what you're looking at. These are horrific. These were committed by a 17-year-old, a large 17-year-old. And I'm not saying that he's large to like body shame him. Not even a little bit. That's not who I am. What I'm saying is that he's athletic, he's large, he plays sports. He was easily able to overpower these girls. And that's the part why I'm saying that. Okay. These are horrific. These are horrific. And frankly, what's not on this list of charges that should be there, and we'll know why in a moment too, is attempted murder. And I'm going to show you and tell you why here very, very shortly. I'm going to show you the pictures, but that's kind of what happened. Horrible charges. So how could somebody like this, Jesse Mack Butler, how could somebody like this get away, walk away with virtually no punishment? Okay, because that's what's happening. It was 78 years initially, down to 150 hours of community service. He is 18. His birthday apparently was in August. He'll be 19 next August. As long as he keeps himself squeaky clean to the terms of the plea agreement, he'll have all of this expunged on his 19th birthday. It all goes away. It all disappears under youthful offender. So future woman wants to date him, this won't be on his background check. Company wants to hire him, won't be on a background check. Now you Google him, and that's one of the reasons why when we started this whole thing, I thought it was important to use his full name, because Jesse Butler, you're going to probably get a million of those. Butler's a really common last name. Jesse Mack Butler, though, that's different. So how could somebody like this possibly get away with it? Do so much and not be held accountable? Well, for the sake of discussion and me not wanting to be sued, I can tell you that I don't know exactly the answer for that, but I can make some observations that could lead people to assumptions, right? That makes me assume, but for all intents and purposes and legal whatever, I'm not saying that this is fact. I'm saying that this is speculation, right? The man in this photo in the middle, that's Mack Butler. If you were to Google Mack Butler, you would discover that he has been working for various universities during various bowl games, has quite a track record when it comes to sports and athletics with colleges and even high school. He was the director of football operations at OSU, Oklahoma State University, which is located, guess where? In Stillwater, Oklahoma, which is where this all occurred. It doesn't take rocket science to figure out that this is somebody from this town who knows a lot of people, who has a lot of influence, to figure out what happened, right? It doesn't take, I mean, it's not from getting from point A to point B, it's not a lot. Like it's pretty easy to come to that conclusion. And that's what I believe happened. I believe that the family used their influence, their connections. Mom still works at OSU currently. Jesse goes there, he'll probably get a free ride, probably through athletics as well, because he's a baseball player. And from the stats, it looks like he's not a bad baseball player, but he's a bad human. And I wouldn't want him on a team. And I sure as heck wouldn't want him at a college where my daughter was at, where there's now parties and alcohol, and he has access to certain things that are the opposite of the floor, if you get what I mean by that. Roof, for those who don't, and we'll not finish the rest because, again, social media. I wouldn't trust him. The other thing that makes it a little bit more concerning, in my opinion, no, I'm gonna table that. Talk about this person. I'm gonna table that for a minute. Talk about this woman. This is Judge Worthington, Judge Susan Worthington. She's the judge that we're talking about in this case. She's the judge who is being added to this grand jury indictment. And there's a lot more to talk about with this. But basically, she's the one that comes in. She's the one that signs off on youthful offender. And she's the reason why Jesse is in the position that he's in right now. And the thing is, this is not her first time doing this. There's another case that I talked about around the same time with this a person by the name of Seth Swaim. He got caught. He was a teacher, got caught sexting a 13-year-old girl, 13, caught stalking her and trying to break into her house for no good reasons. No reasons that could possibly be construed as good. He gets arrested. According to his aunt, who messaged me trying to justify his actions with a child, I kid you not, trying to justify his action with a child, told me that he spent 8 months. We know that it was around or less than a year that he was in jail. He was sentenced to 10 years. Who was behind that? Judge Worthington. This girl, who was 16, he gets out, he gets a job. He's not supposed to be around kids. He violates an EPO, not Jesse, this other guy, Seth Swaim, violates an EPO 11 times. Judge Worthington keeps giving him a $500 to $1,000 fine. He walks. No contempt of court. No, hey, this is your 11th time doing this. Continues to let him walk time after time after time while the victim is out there, while the victim is being harassed by him and his family. And she lets it happen. And I have heard so many other stories where Judge Worthington is just easy on crime. Now, a lot of people have said, you need to check this judge's computer. She's into something. No, I don't think that that's the case here at all. I don't think that that's the case here at all. I think that this all centers around power and influence. I don't think that this judge herself is a predator, but I think she enables predators. Absolutely. Now, I want to talk about somebody else. Somebody who I haven't really talked about, and that is this guy. Because one thing a lot of you guys keep asking is, why doesn't the governor get involved? Why doesn't OBI, the Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation, get involved? And I have no proof of this. This is my speculation for legal purposes. It's a speculation only. I'm not stating it as fact. But this guy's name is Jason Reese. Okay? Jason Reese is the district judge. He is technically Susan Worthington's boss, I guess, in a manner of speaking. He was appointed to this position by Oklahoma Governor Stitt. This man, for years, was Governor Stitt's personal attorney. They became very good friends. This guy is over Susan Worthington, Kane County, and all the wherewithal within that. So you want to know why the governor, why the OBI, why nobody gets involved at the state level? There you go. Because this ties directly back to Governor Stitt in Oklahoma. It's convoluted, guys. It really is. It's very convoluted. And there's a lot of moving parts to this. So now let's talk about this. This next picture, guys, I'm going to warn you again, TikTok friends, if you want to jump over to see it on YouTube, you can. I'm going to show you right now. Here's what you're looking at in this photo. And this is where I haven't really gone into details yet with the strangulations with Jesse. This is one of his victims. That bulge in her neck, you all know that that's not supposed to be there, right? Like none of our necks look like that, right? That bulge that she's showing in her neck, I guess technically on this side. Well, yeah, this side. But that bulge that she's showing in her neck, that's a direct result of his strangulation. And you want to know why they were strangled? These girls? Because he said no. Sorry, not he. She said no. These girls said no. No to his advances. No to any sexual activity. No. Jesse Mack Butler doesn't know what no means. His mommy never taught him that. And because of that, he feels very entitled. I'm going to guess with the last name Butler in Stillwater, Oklahoma, who he is, who his parents are. He feels very entitled to take whatever he wants, including girls. Now, she had to have surgery on her neck. And I'm going to show you that scar in a second. She had to have surgery on her neck. The doctor said that had this gone on roughly another 30 seconds, that she would not be here anymore. She would be gone. She would have died. Jesse, at one point, I'm not sure which girl. I'm pretty sure it was this one, but I could be wrong. But Jesse strangled one of the girls to a point of every time he strangled somebody, every single time that we know of that he has strangled somebody, it was always every time, y'all, to the point of unconsciousness. To the point of unconsciousness. Okay? That's scary, as young as he is. I was told by victims, or people close to the victims, I should say, not the victims themselves, but I was told by people close to the victims, um, that he learned, people who know Jesse, that he learned how to do this without leaving bruises, without leaving marks. That's extra scary. That's extra scary. Now, with one of these times, after he choked her to the point of unconsciousness, when she came to, he had set up his camera so he could film it. He wanted to strangle her again and film it. All right? And he did. And he did. And that evidence was actually found on his phone when police investigated. Like, that's not hearsay. There's a video. There's video proof of this happening. Video proof. It's unfathomable to me. Now, I'm going to show you the scar that's left. So she went to the hospital. That's what happened. She will carry that scar for the rest of her life. She's 16 years old. A physical scar, emotional scar, trauma, the rest of her life. Because what would happen is Jesse, again, would not let her say no. She was one of the girls at one point. I'm not going to specify which is which because, again, these are minors and we're going to try to protect their anonymity. But these girls, one of them was house sitting. Jesse comes over. He says no. He forces her anyways. One time he's taking one of the girls home in his truck. She says no. He forces her anyways. Says that if you tell your parents or anybody that I did this, I will kill you and your parents. I will kill you and your family. That is what this, at the time, 17-year-old boy is saying. Think about this. Think about saying those words, having the skills set to strangle somebody to the point of consciousness, wanting to do it again to the point that you film it and knowing how to do it in a way that doesn't leave bruises. Think about that. Think about how sadistic. Think about what that's going to lead to, what that will look like when he's 25, when he's 40. What is that going to look like? People like this don't get better. They only get worse. And the next time might not be somebody coming back from unconsciousness. In fact, it probably won't. If he ends up going to OSU, I would be terrified if I had a daughter there. I would be terrified to send her there with this person is. That's her in the hospital after recovery. And I show you this to show you that these aren't big girls, right? Like he was easily able to overpower them and take advantage of whatever he wanted, didn't give them an option. They were treated like property, like items, just there for his edification, nothing else. It's a problem, right? Now, I'm going to play a video of the arrest because for those of you who've not seen that, you guys need to see that. And again, on TikTok, it'll give you time to jump over while I talk about this. Somebody asked, a few of y'all asked questions about a couple things, about a third victim. Yes, to my understanding, there is a third victim. I do not know who that victim is. I have not spoken to that victim's family, but I believe that the existing victims might know who that is. That being said, you cannot force a victim to come forward. They have to be ready to do that. And sometimes they never do that. For any woman, any girl who has been in this situation, you know how difficult it is to do that, right? Then couple that with the fact that you just watched two other people go through what you did and no accountability was held on his part. What motivation does that girl have to come forward, right? Now, I'm hoping that we can change that outlook. I'm hoping with some of the people that we're working with on this, with all the notoriety that he now has, that maybe that person will come forward, but you can't force them to do it, right? Because think about this. How many times do you see this stuff happen? And then you have all of these incel men and men's rights activist groups come in like, well, maybe they're making it. I literally had somebody say on these 16-year-old girls that they liked it and they had a strangle kink. They're 16-year-old girls. They're children, right? That's not something one develops at that age. Number two, I guarantee you that that's not accurate. All right. But people will come in and try to justify what happens. They'll shame them. I think Diddy was a really great example of seeing that. You had somebody like Cassie on trial. How many people said, oh, Cassie knew what she was into? She wanted the money. She wanted the lifestyle. Well, maybe that was a nice perk. But I don't think somebody puts themselves through 11 years of hell because it's a nice perk. Right? People will shame and blame the victims and never the perpetrator. And that's what we have here. And what I want you guys to see next, and we're going to play this video here in just a moment. What I want you guys to see next is how his mom interacts with the arrest. Now, I don't know what happened prior to this. I have not seen footage prior to this body cam, but this is the nicest arrest I have ever seen. It looks to me, based on what I'm inferring this. I don't know this to be fact, but I'm inferring this. It looks to me that she had spoken. The police came up and were speaking to the mom prior to going in the house to get Jesse. And they never went in the house, right? So let's play this video and let's see what you guys think. All right.
You're what?
They're in the car.
Well, okay, it's fine. It's not locked or anything, is it? Okay. So, can you tell him what you just told me, or?
Yeah. So we're here. We're obviously going to place you under arrest. There's a warrant for your arrest. We're going to take you to the jail. I told your mom that she can contact a bondsman, and you shouldn't be very long. But there just is a process for paperwork and stuff. But right now you do have to come with us, and I do have to put you in handcuffs. So turn around for me.
You have to put him in handcuffs? You know we're going to win this. So,
Yeah.
I'll get you out. For me?
I'm going to pause that real quick. Let me put myself back on the screen. I'm going to pause that real quick. You hear what she said? Do you really have to put him in handcuffs? Don't worry, I'll get you out. Right? I'll get you out. Again, for my TikTok friends, if you're like, what is he? Because I've seen some of y'all say it. If you want to see the video itself, you can jump over to YouTube and see it there. That's what she said. This to me already sounds like it's already been very much talked about, etc. But again, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
All right. Stay silent. Rick knows about this. Candy's on this. Dad's on his way. We're coming to get you, okay? Stay strong, okay? Say your prayers.
Okay. So he's going to go right to the city of Stillwater jail, and if you'll just contact her, then she does this all the time. She knows what to do.
Yep.
Make sure
Okay.
she knows Stillwater Police Department, not a county.
Yeah.
Stillwater Police Department.
Yeah.
On Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them know that we're the ones that picked him up.
And
They
when
don't-
you say we are the ones.
Stillwater PD.
Stillwater PD.
Yeah,
Okay.
that way they don't think he went like straight over and he's over at the county.
Awful experience for the child.
Gonna pat you down and spread your feet for me.
Nothing on their side.
That's Jess. See you in a bit.
All right, that was kind of it. Hold on. That's what we had. Right? That's what we had as far as that. Now, when I first posted that video, somebody had made the comment, well, that's just a mom standing by her son. Okay? And look, I get it. Like, I'm a parent. I stand by my daughter too. But I also hold my daughter accountable. And I would hold her in this case. And she needs to hold her son accountable in this place, because love without accountability isn't love, it's enabling. And that's what happened here. And let me kind of give you another story that some of y'all know, some of y'all might not know, and I'm going to make sure that you do know, that there was an incident where one of the girls was at his house, in his room. His door was closed. She was struggling. She was screaming. She said, no. Mom comes up, knocks on the door, right? Everything okay in there, honey? Yeah, Mom, everything's fine. Doesn't wait for the girl to say anything. Turns around and leaves. Happening in her own house, under her own roof. She goes up to check on it. This girl's clearly struggling. And she walks away and lets it happen. I don't know what else to say to that. Honestly, I don't know what else to say to that. I had people come in the comments say, well, maybe he was abusing the mom too. No, I know what it looks like to live in an abused household. I know what it looks like to have that situation, see a person with an abuse complex. That mom ain't it. That mom ain't it. Right? Yeah, his mom made a comment like, so hard for Trevor. It says it's something that a child shouldn't have to go through. Well, you know what else a child shouldn't have to go through? Being forced to do things that she doesn't want to, being strangled to the point that she needs surgery. Those are things that children shouldn't have to do either. It's enraging. It's absolutely enraging. And it doesn't seem possible that with all he's done, that this would be what we're looking at. Now, I'll show y'all this picture here. This family. Look at him. I'm gonna make him bigger. Let me make me smaller here. I'll make him bigger here. There we go. Look at this guy. So here's what you're looking at. Mom is on the left. Jesse obviously in the middle with those horrific sunglasses, looking like, I know I'm good. My mommy's got this for me. I'm totally fine. The other person's his sister. Okay. This right here is what entitlement looks like. To be in a courtroom with those sunglasses on, looking the way that they look. I don't even know who's taking the picture. Maybe the dad. Maybe. But you just want to slap the stupid off of him. I don't think I'm allowed to say that, but I did anyway. It doesn't matter. The thing is that there's a lot of people that enable this guy. Men, women, sisters, the school system, which we're going to talk about that in a moment too. Now, for a lot of people who want to know, is Jesse in the school system? Yes, technically he is. Virtually, he's not at school with these girls. So that's a good thing. That's what you want to know. This guy does not care. He's got a golden opportunity, right? He gets nothing for this, right? Nothing. 150 hours of community service. And you know what? With the way his family knows people, they could probably just get somebody to sign off that he did it. He doesn't even have to do it. Now, there are a few other things, caveats to his plea agreement. He's got a curfew. He's not allowed to have social media. He has to do the community service. And I think there's one more thing, but I can't remember what it is. Yeah, he's not allowed on Stillwater school property. That's part of it. Now, my understanding is that I have been told, but nobody has found it or sent it to me, so I don't know if it's hearsay or if it's accurate or what the deal is, but supposedly he has a Tinder account, which would technically be a violation of using social media. If any girl who has received an online message from him, that would be a violation of his plea agreement. And so if anybody has evidence of that, actual evidence of that, and they can send it to me, please do, and I'll make sure that it gets to the right people. So let's talk about the school for a moment. There was a protest. What was it, on the 8th? The protest last week. And this protest, before it happened, a lot of people at the school wanted to take part in it. The victims, for one, friends of the victims, and people who support them and don't support Jesse, who want to stand up for what's right. And you would think that a school system would understand that your pupils exercising their First Amendment rights is the precipice of like a phenomenal education. This is Oklahoma, who's ranked 50th. No offense to my Oklahoma people, but you guys are ranked really bad when it comes to education. And this, instead of looking at an opportunity to teach civics, to teach political science, to teach the Constitution, here is what was sent out. I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to give you my opinion. I want you all to formulate your opinion on your own while we're doing this, okay? Dear SHS families at Stillwater schools, as you are likely aware, there are ongoing discussions in our community regarding an event planned to take place at the Payne County Courthouse on November 5th. Sorry, it's the 5th, guys, not the 8th. In connection with this, we understand that there have been conversations among a few students interested in participating. While we wholeheartedly support our students' First Amendment rights to express themselves and engage in civic discourse, As a school district, we have the responsibility to the state to ensure that self-expression does not disrupt the educational environment. School policy and state law require students to attend class during scheduled instructional time. As such, while it is a student's right to express themselves, we want families to be aware that an absence to participate in any outside event on this day or another will be treated under board policy as an unexcused absence for any classes missed and may impact students' ability to participate in SHS's semester's test exemption policy. Okay? We are not sharing this information to be punitive, nor to encourage or discourage participation, but to ensure that every family understands the academic and extracurricular consequences of this choice. I'm going to stop here before I go to page 2. I'm going to turn to you guys. What do y'all interpret that as? Before I give you my opinion, what do y'all interpret that as? I'm looking at all you guys. Mona, that is not why y'all are ranked badly. Y'all are ranked badly based on federal test scores. It has nothing to do with y'all being a red state, because there are red states that are ranked much better. All right. That's a crock of BS, and we all know it's good for those kids. I hope most schools there. Wouldn't want the school to lose money. Okay, yeah, that's a lighthearted threat. They're protecting him. They were telling students not to go. So you all, without me giving you my opinion, have said, telling the kids they have no rights. So you all are basically picking up the same vibes that I was picking up from this too. That this is a threat to not go. That if you go to this, we're not going to punish you, but it's an unexcused absence, and you might not be able to exempt yourself from tests. But we're going to tell you this is not punitive. Right? That's what I got. That's what I got. So let's move to the second page. We encourage you to speak with your child about any issue that concerns them. Discuss their feelings, the importance of their voice, and the various ways that they can express their views, such as participating in community events outside of school hours or writing to elected officials. For safety's sake, if your child plans to participate, we ask that the parents, guardians, please notify excuse me, guys. Notify the SHS attendance office so that we can help ensure that we are aware of your child's location at all times. Please email this person. Thank you for your partnership in helping our students navigate this complex issue. So, hey guys, we don't want your students to be here, but if they are going to go here, make sure to tell us to make our jobs easier so we can track them. That's how. I'm not even going to ask y'all's opinion on this time, because I know that that's what this says. Signed, Tyler Bridges, Superintendent. Again, like I said, when you're looking at education, one of the best things that you can learn in this country, in the United States of America, is the Constitution. There is no better exercise or no better lesson than exercising one of your rights afforded by that Constitution, including that First Amendment right. The one they put at the very, very top, because it's the most important. And they're just going, well, I'm going to tell you, students showed up anyways. It was a decent turnout from what I saw. I don't know how many were students, how many were adults, but it was a decent turnout. Students went anyways. And you know what? I sure as heck would have supported my daughter in that, and I would not have told the school where they went. They would have been sick. Oh, I'm sorry that it coincides on the same day as this protest. I didn't know that. She was sick. And I would stand by my daughter's right to protest. Because that's what you do. You're telling people at this school who are friends with the victims, you're telling the victims themselves not to go to this when such a massive miscarriage of justice, a travesty of justice was committed. And you're telling them not to go stand up for their friends, not to go stand up for themselves. I don't get behind that. I don't support that. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Now, let's talk about let's get into some more details here. So what's going on? Let me get this bigger here. All right, I look at my camera. Bam. Let's get into a little bit bigger what's going on when it comes to Payne County and accountability for the judge and for what could be next for Jesse. Let me start with what's easy, which is what's next for Jesse. All right. So if Jesse minds his P's and Q's, dots his I's, crosses his T's, is the perfect little monster between now and the end of December, I think, right? That he's completed his probation, his plea agreements, all that kind of stuff, whatever you want to call it. And once he turns 19, another 8 months from then, 9 months from then, give or take, this all wipes clean. It's never happened. For all intents and purposes, for legal purposes, it never happened. Gone. Off his record. Can this be overturned? No. The only way that it could happen is if he violated the plea agreement or new charges could be brought. That's where a third victim could come in. With all the attention and everything on it, you would have to ensure that that third victim would get the trial that she needed, get the accountability that she needed. And I think that that's possible. So for those who are watching this, in case you are that third victim, if you know who that is, here's what I want to tell you. If you think that you want to come forward, you or any of them, and there could be more than 3, by the way. There could be more than 3 total. So there could be other victims. But if you are a victim of Jesse Mack Butler and have chosen to not come forward up to this point, obviously it is your choice to make on whether you decide you want to come forward or not. But here's what I'm going to tell you. If you reach out to me directly, and you can do so by going to the notes here, my email is justinthenickofcrime, my handle at gmail.com. If you email me, you reach out to me directly, I will keep you anonymous. I will get you in front of a legislator who is on your side, and we can get this figured out together so that things are brought appropriately and handled in a way that's discreet and in a way that will actually get you justice. Okay? And I'll talk about that lawmaker here in a moment. So if you are one of those people, nothing will be done without nothing. No charges will be filed without you. Nothing. But if you are interested in having that conversation, please reach out. You have a whole army of people now that will ensure that you stay safe and that you get the justice that is so deserved to you and others. Now, that said, how else could Jesse possibly come to some kind of punishment? From state charges, he can't be charged with double jeopardy, right? You can't be charged with those 10 things that I showed you, whatever he's pled guilty to, or no contest to, I should say, whatever he's been charged with, he can't be recharged or retried for those unless it's a different person. Maybe new charges. But there's a caveat to that. The feds could come in and charge him with something. It's a long shot. It's doubtful that it would happen. And if there is somebody watching this who's a lawyer and knows how to make that happen, who deals with federal law, again, reach out to me. I just gave my email address. I will get you in touch with the victims' families of who is out here, and you can pursue it that way. But what I understand, one of the things that Jesse Mack Butler, this is something that you guys actually probably don't know. I don't think I've reported this at all. This next part that I'm about to share with you guys. He kept photos on his phone of naked girls, compromising photos. These girls, 15, 16, 17 years old, right? I don't know the full ages, but I'm imagining based on his age, that's what we're looking at. Now, he's 17 when this is happening. Okay, he's 17 when this is happening. So they're within a year or two. And, of these girls, most, right? 1 to 2 years at most. And Oklahoma does have a Romeo and Juliet law, meaning that, hey, if you're 16 years old or 15 years old, or 17 years old, and you have naked pictures of a 16-year-old, you're probably not going to get in trouble for that. Whereas that would be child abuse material if an older person had that. However, the feds don't recognize the Romeo and Juliet law. And if you had something on your phone, on a device, if it was ever sent, ever captured, it probably goes through some type of cyber crime that would have taken it out of the state to then bring it back in the state, and then allows that, even that charge by itself could bring federal charges. That one by itself. And nobody would have to come forward. I don't know how to make that happen. I don't see the feds jumping in on this one. I really don't. But that's an option. It's a possibility. And if somebody knows how to make that happen, please reach out to me. Okay. So let's get into this grand jury indictment. What's going on? There's a lot of people involved in this corruption in Stillwater, Oklahoma. This is more than just Judge Susan Worthington. This is more than just Jason Reese. This is more than the Butler case or the Swaim case or so many other people who have seen injustice. Even in these comments right before before this whole thing messed up and I had to redo the whole show. Even in all of that, even all of that, there's a lot of examples where people said, Judge Worthington was my judge. This is what I experienced. And Judge Worthington's dad had been a judge prior to her. The Worthingtons have been on that bench for 50 years, at least. Okay? And it's time for them to go. But grand jury is where it goes. So if you are outside of Payne County, it is limited on what you can do. What I would tell you that you should do is sign the petition that I made, because J.J. Humphrey, who is the politician that I'm dealing with, I think he's District 6 state lawmaker who is also running for lieutenant governor of Oklahoma. I think he's got a phenomenal chance at winning, especially the way he's been handling these cases, and depending on how it goes. We have his ear. Okay, I've told him about the petition. He knows about it. That is the first step. Sign the petition to end the easy plea deals for child predators. Technically, even though Jesse was a kid at the time, he is still classified under that, and I wanted a broad spectrum. Okay, sign that. That's what you can do. If you are in Payne County, Alabama, Payne County, Oklahoma, I need you to listen very, 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 very carefully. In fact, as I do this, I'm going to throw an email address up on this board. If you are in Payne County, I need you to notate this email address. Okay, I need you to write it down, and I'll tell you why in a second. They are looking to put a grand jury together. You have to have a certain amount of signatures in order to do that. You have to collect those manually, and those have to be Payne County registered voters. So if you are in Payne County and you are not registered to vote and you are of age to vote, make sure you are registered to vote. Go do it right now. Right now. Okay? Or if you're turning, 18 soon, do it the minute you do. All right? Because you need signatures. So here's what they have. In about 2 weeks, I spoke to Representative Humphreys last night. The petition should be ready in approximately 2 weeks. They've already signed up 250 volunteers to carry the petition physically and to get signatures. I'm going to read you quote verbatim what he said. He said, "We should be ready with the petition in approximately 2 weeks. We have around 250 volunteers signed up to carry the petition and get signatures. We are going to expand the petition to put the judge in Butler's case, meaning Worthington's, name on it. Keep you posted. Just encourage people to sign and help carry the petition." I think I've typed something wrong here, but we'll be posting meetings to get a petition and how to collect signatures as soon as it's approved. Payne County registered voters only. Okay. So if you are in Payne County, Oklahoma, and you want to do this, all right, email this individual here. Tell him that you know about this. Do it. Somebody goes, will they approve this one? I believe they'll get it. The issue isn't getting the petition approved. The issue is getting it certified. And without going too much to detail on this one, last time Representative Humphrey tried to get a petition certified, the person who said that it was certified had lied about it. That's one of the people who we've already talked about today. All right? They did that. For people asking where my petition is, the one to sign, it's linked in the bio. It's linked in my bio on on Insta and TikTok, or linked in the show notes on Facebook or YouTube. And again, just sign it. So, hold on a second. We got a troll in here. We're going to go ahead and put this user in timeout. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and do this one too, because there might be a reason, T. Brunk, that certain people's names don't want to be put on there. Apparently, we need 7,000 signatures. All right. That being said, guys, this is what we have. This is what's going on. Again, there is a Jesse Mack Butler corruption in Stillwater, Oklahoma. That is, I'm going to pin this up here real quick. That is on Facebook. It is linked in my bio as well. If you're still if you're certified to vote in Payne County, you can still find somebody and sign it. It'll be all over. In fact, if you are in Payne County, I would strongly encourage you to join the Jesse Mack Butler corruption in Stillwater group, because you'll definitely find out that. As far as my petition goes, you guys are asking how many I need. I need as many as I can. My next goal is 100,000. I'm at 80 something thousand. And really my goal is to get to 1 million, because once we get to 1 million, then we can go to a lot more places with it, which I think can happen. So guys, this is a lot to take in, I realize. And obviously, you know what? I want to take some time for y'all as well, because this is a lot. What questions you have that I can see for y'all? I'm looking at all of you guys. Thank you. Anybody who has signed the petition, thank you guys so much to do it. What questions do you have that I can answer? What do you guys, how did I not go over that you need me to go over? What do y'all have? Can only U.S. citizens sign my petition? No, mine's open to anybody. You should be setting the example, not unless example is to get away with armed felonies. Exactly. I agree with that. I seen a lady ask if attempted murder could be a new charge. No, because they would have already done it. Could it be if he strangled somebody else? No, but they've already passed that down. He's already been gotten from that. How old is he now? He's 18. Yes. I'm going to go ahead and stop this person right here, because here's the thing. I'm going to show this real quick, and I'm going to make a comment. All right. Yes, this is available for rewatch. Obviously, this is a faceless troll, somebody who feels very empowered or enlightened on the internet, or not enlightened, but feels empowered on the internet, and they think that they're big, or they think that they're funny and cute and whatever. All this person, all people like this do is show how pathetically immature that they are. When we're talking about serious cases where, you know, I'm going to guess if you're not a child, you sure as heck act like one. But if you are a child, one day you're going to have kids, probably, maybe. And I want you to think, if this happened to your mother, your sister, to you, because it happens to guys too. And I know that only guys would be this dumb to do something like this. Only young males would be this moronic. Think about that. You're not tough. You're not cool. You're not edgy. You're just a troll. That means absolutely nothing. There's obviously nothing better to do with your life. He's made a few comments. I have to call this out sometimes. Why aren't the parents being charged? So I'm going to try to look at other questions. Okay, those aren't questions there. I don't see any questions there. Petition is linked in my bio. Will this be able to rewatch? Yes, I signed. Okay. Why aren't the parents being charged? Parents didn't commit a crime. This goes back to like Brian Laundrie, right? There was no crime that could be proven that the parents committed. Just because the mom heard, because it's hearsay, technically, that the mom heard somebody struggling. She could easily deny that. Oh, I didn't know what was going on. I never went up there. There's nothing to be charged for. You can't charge people just to charge people. And the mom, as much as you would like parents to be held accountable in some cases, there's nothing here to hold them accountable with. Oh, good. He should be able to be tried as an adult. I want to address this. This is not really a question, or maybe it kind of is. He was supposed to be tried as an adult. Judge Worthington brought him in as a youthful, or changed it so he's a youthful offender, and was able to get this sweetheart of a plea deal. I'm going to pin this. This isn't a question, it's a comment. The next local protest in Stillwater is December 8th at 12:30 at the Payne County Courthouse. The age of consent here is 16, which is also appalling. Number one, I agree with you. It is a 16, because the thing, when you have a 40-year-old man going after a 16-year-old girl, that's grooming. I don't care how you put it. Okay. Once you're 18, technically the law is the law, but like, I'm 43. I would have no interest in anybody nearly that young if I was single, because there's nothing in common. There's only one thing that those guys want. And I agree with you fully. But in this particular case, there was no consent. They said no. How do we get rid of that wicked judge? That's going to be part of the situation. Is a lot of this public pressure that we're doing, continue to keep it mounting. When this grand jury indictment comes out, that could be a way to get rid of her as well. And if, Representative Humphreys becomes lieutenant governor, that's going to give him a lot more pull as well. If he hurts someone else and gets arrested, okay, hold on. If he hurts someone else and gets arrested and charged again, can the other girl's information be used to help the new victim? I mean, technically speaking, he was convicted. I mean, it was a no contest plea, which means he's basically pleading guilty. So technically, yes, but once it's been expunged from his record, meaning like, let's say if he did this like next week and got arrested, then up until his 19th birthday, yes, it could be used. But once his 19th birthday hits, all of this gets expunged, and no, it couldn't be used anymore. How do you sign? If you sign my petition, again, it's linked in my bio on TikTok and Instagram, on YouTube and Facebook. It's in the show notes, and on Facebook, it is also pinned to my profile. this isn't a question. I'm just going to pin it because I fully agree. I fully agree. This comment right here, man. Ashley, you're not wrong. It's like we're all just sitting here waiting for more girls and women to be hurt hard and potentially lose their lives by allowing this man to do this without consequences. I don't get it. Your comment is 100% valid. There's no lies detected. This is a very valid argument and a very valid concern, and the same one that I have. When you're dealing with somebody like Jesse Mack Butler and you're dealing with something like strangulation, for those of y'all who don't know, for those of y'all who have been in domestic violence situations, you do know this, okay? You know how hard it is to leave. You know how they can be. You know how they can overpower you, make you feel. I never told you guys. I'll come back to this in a second. You know how it is. But if somebody puts their hands around your neck to strangle you, there is a 750% more likely chance that they will end your life. 750% higher chance. I don't care if it's because of a violent situation or because it's some kink they claim that they have. It's not a matter of if they'll win or end your life. It's a matter of when. If you are in that situation, but I'm going to post this real quick because we're talking about this. If you are in that situation, number scrolling below, I will leave that up here for the rest of this. Call it. Help. There is help out there. You don't have to stay in that situation. Okay? You don't. But I agree with you. Ashley, I agree. Let me keep going. We got some questions. Let me see what you all have. Same thing. Okay. What did you guys have? But that's one of the reasons that we're doing. Oh yeah, the other thing I was going to share with y'all. Let me go back. Let me go back because I really want to put this. I really want to put this in. You guys, I'm going to take Judge Humphreys, not Judge Humphreys, sorry, Representative Humphreys' information down for a second here. You hopefully all would have gotten it by now. If not, you can rewind. This is available on the replay. I want to tell you guys why he had nude pictures of girls. I mean, we know why. Part of the reason why, we know he's a young guy. We know what he does with those. But there was another reason that involved control. I totally skimmed over this. I didn't mean to. This guy, I want you to take a good look at this guy. Okay? Good look. In fact, let's look at him. Look at this guy. Sorry. I'm going to go back. This guy. Take a good look at him. He took those pictures and would criticize these girls. He would use pictures of other girls to criticize the girl that he was with. That's what he would do. That's what he would do. Right? To destroy their self-esteem, to make him continue to have control. This guy. Look at him. Oh, I like this picture a bit. Look at him. Look at this guy. Him. Like, that's some gall, right? Like, that's bold. That's bold. Hey, let's not insult Chumley like that. Telling these girls. Right? That's what he was doing with it. Let me keep going through your question. Sorry if I missed one. So I'll look at this. Mom kept his phone for a reason, but they did go through his phone and they did find his stuff. I did post his pics. Believe me, I've posted his pics every. You guys. So right now, this is being recorded. This whole session, if you came in late, missed it, whatever, is on YouTube. You can go watch it. By the way, I should have said this at the beginning. Toward the end, people come in and out. I am so close to 60,000 on YouTube. I think I'm like less than 100 and something away. If y'all would please follow me on YouTube to help me get to that. I'm really going towards 100,000. That is a slow climb, y'all. But I am currently sitting at 59,968. I need 32 more signatures, or not signatures, 32 more follows on Insta to hit 60,000. Could we do it? Please do. Judge knows what though the judge knows what she did, and this isn't isolated. This isn't. I want to bring that up too, real quick. I want to bring that up real quick too. Somebody just said, "Where's your post? Where did that comment go?" That's such a good comment. There we go. Oh my gosh, thank you, Jenna. This is such a good comment. I'm glad you brought this up. So for those of y'all on TikTok who can't see this because you're not on YouTube, the comment is, "Oh, the judge does know what she did. This isn't an isolated incident. This is a pattern." So we know that there are a total of 3 victims out there, 2 that have come forward, 1 that hasn't. I would bet money. I would bet almost anything that there's a lot more than 3. There's a lot more than 3, whether they were threatened by mommy or daddy or by him, Jesse himself. Because to know how to strangle somebody to unconsciousness, to not leave marks, to know when to quit so that you don't end their lives, right? To want to film it. That is not your first time doing something like that. You will not convince me that is your first time doing something like that. You just won't. So, how many different people has the judge let off like this? A lot. I know of 8 that I am aware of. There's going to be more. There's more. I guarantee you there's more, and there's probably more than we realize, and there will definitely be more in the future. I'm gonna check and see where we're at. I need 11. I need 21 more to hit 60,000. I'm not stopping this live till we get that. My point is that this guy knows what he's doing. It's calculated. At this point, it's calculated. This right here, guys, Jesse Mack Butler, I'm going to say this. Jesse Mack Butler is a serial predator. He is a serial predator, and it's only a matter of time until he takes that next step where he ends somebody's life. It is only a matter of time. It will happen. People like him can't be rehabilitated. His mommy never taught him that no means no, that no is a complete sentence, that women have rights to their body on who touches them. Okay? I want y'all to be mad. For those of you who came in late to this, I want to refresh and show you guys the charges. Okay, let me show you the charges. Look at these charges, guys. Look at these charges. I'll read for TikTok. I'll read the best I can. You know, we got to be social media safe, right? Attempted R in the first degree. R by instrumentation. S battery. Forcible oral sodomy. Attempted R in the first degree. R by instrumentation again. Domestic assault and battery by strangulation. Another domestic assault and battery by strangulation. R by instrumentation again. 3 counts of that. And another domestic assault and battery. Just that time they didn't add. But, came over from Instagram to follow you. Well, thank you so much for doing that. And yes, you can absolutely sign it. Doesn't matter where you are. When it comes to the petition that we're looking at doing nationally, the one that in plea deals, you can be anywhere and sign that. So we're looking at a quantity of numbers at this point. So these, I mean, look at these. Look at these. This is scary. This is terrifying. And here's the thing. I want to bring something else up, okay? Because we talked about Judge Worthington and we talked about Seth. You guys want to see what Seth Swaim looks like? The other guy who was caught trying to hook up with a 13-year-old girl he was a teacher, right? Trying to hook up with a 13-year-old girl, trying to climb into her window, break into her house, right? Let me show you what this guy looks like. This guy, Judge Worthington let off to, for the most part. He served less than a year in jail. Show you. That's him. Served less than a year in jail. And they let him out. And while he was out, he offended against a 16-year-old. And you know what I'm going to tell you about this? This is what Judge Worthington. You want to get really pissed off about Judge Worthington if you're not already pissed off about the fact that this Stay Puft Marshmallow mother effer that we've been talking about earlier, the fact that Jesse isn't in prison. Let me tell you this, okay? This guy right here, all right, caught trying to do stuff with a 13-year-old girl as a teacher. He's a teacher at the time. 13-year-old girl, sexting her, trying to break into her house, stalking her. All right, a literal child. Little child. Gets put in jail. He gets out early, way early. He was sentenced to 10 years, did 1, maybe less, maybe 8 months to 1 year. While he's out, he violates his probation by assaulting, R-ing another girl, a 16-year-old. Okay? He doesn't go back to jail for that. That's not a parole violation. I'm about to make you guys really, really mad. I'm about to make y'all really, like, madder than you were, madder than you knew you could be. All right? Madder than you knew you could be. He's out. That's what he does to a 16-year-old girl. Goes before the judge. The girl reports it. She does everything right. He bails out. She lets him bail out. It's not a parole violation. He's not going straight back to prison. Parole violation. They file an EPO, an emergency protective order against him. This family does. He violates it not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but 11 times. Violates an EPO 11 times against this 16-year-old girl. 11 times. And every single time, Judge Worthington gives him a $500 to $1,000 fine. This guy's mom bails him out, and he walks free to do it again. He is sitting in jail, though, now, because he did finally violate his probation. You want to know how, guys? Because forcibly assaulting a 16-year-old girl isn't doing it, but a DUI is. He got a DUI, driving under the influence, and that, my friends, was his probation violation. That is what put him back in jail. Not because of what he did to a child, but because he drove under the influence. What message does that send to the girls and the parents and the women of Stillwater, Oklahoma? What message does that send? I'll tell you what it says, and I won't even be nice about it. It says that we don't care about your daughters. We don't care about and I'm going to say sons too, because it happens to boys also. But we don't care about your children. We don't care about your daughters. We don't care about you. Because this guy can I don't know how to properly say it without, but with a 13-year-old girl, then again with a 16, 11 EPO violations, and Judge Worthington, once again, lets him out. It blows my... The thing is, this case, it's so surreal. This whole situation is so surreal, it doesn't even feel like it could possibly be real, right? It doesn't even feel like it could be real. But it is. It is. And it baffles me. It absolutely baffles me. I don't know. And apparently this is not the only... This particular thing in Stillwater is it J.J. Humphrey, Representative Humphrey sent me more stories about Oklahoma to do. And I'm going to do them, obviously, at some point. But there's so much more. There's also another... I'll give you another one. There's another situation in Oklahoma. I'm going to do probably a whole thing on this very, very soon, like in the next couple of days. There's a whole thing in Oklahoma where a woman took the life of her abuser. He would R her physically, verbally, mentally abuse her, and finally she snapped and took his life. She, since 1999, has been serving life in prison. She was supposed to be resentenced under the... this is not Judge Worthington, by the way. I want to make sure that y'all are clear about this. This is Oklahoma, though. Supposed to be resentenced under the Oklahoma Survivors Act. The prosecution fought to prevent that from happening. They bought her old house. The prosecutors bragged about the fact that they bought the house that this murder took place in, and the fact that they were actively trying to prevent her from getting out, talking about that with their coworkers and their friends and things like that, that they thought that it was funny that they bought this house. They got married, these prosecutors got married in the house of this woman they're trying to keep in prison after she took the life of their abuser. This is what Oklahoma does. This is what Oklahoma apparently does when it comes to victims of abuse. And it is not okay. And it needs to be changed and it needs to be called out. And that's what we're going to do. And the thing is, I realize it is not just Oklahoma. I have a judge in South Carolina, another judge in Utah. Both have been arrested for some of the most heinous crimes you could possibly imagine. More heinous, believe it or not, at least the one in South Carolina, more heinous than what even Jesse did, believe it or not. So we're going to keep calling this out. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doing this. Things need to change. People need justice. This is not okay. This is not right. And look, I realize, and I shouldn't even make this comment, but I'm going to make it anyways. I realize that people want to blame politics on it. Okay. But this has been happening long before the last 20 years of politics. This has been going on for a long time. Anybody who's in here watching this, who was a victim of abuse prior to 2000, you know that it was swept under the rug. If you were a victim of abuse in the 60s, 70s, 80s, hell, even the 90s, how many times was it? What did you do to entice them? Well, don't say anything. We don't want to ruin the family's reputation. Suppressing victims' voices, silencing victims' voices is not new. I'm going to say something very controversial here, and I don't care. You don't have to agree with me. We can agree to disagree, because this is not the lie that I'm talking about. This, the Menendez brothers. The Menendez brothers, in my opinion, you will not convince me otherwise. I think the evidence is there. Took the life of their abusers. Nobody believed that they were abused because boys couldn't get abused back then. That was the mindset. My point is that this is not new. This is not new, guys. But what is new is people trying to change it. What is new is 20 years ago, you wouldn't have known about this situation. 20 years ago, you might have read about a story in your local paper one time, but with social media, we can expose so much more, so much faster, and get this to reach everywhere across the world. And that's what we're doing. And that is how we change. That is why the petitions, and look, and I'll say this, I was at one point in time, I'm going to be real transparent with y'all. I said, there's no point in doing petitions. They don't work. And I disagree, because I've seen them work since that time. And that's why I'm doing this one. And I've already spoken to lawmakers about it. And this one will work too. The system needs to be revamped. We can't continue to try these cases like it's the 70s, 80s, and 90s with the new rules out there not being what they are. There's so much more we can do. And these easy plea deals for child predators have to end, because if not, they reoffend, and next time they'll be worse. Don Stephen McDougal, who took the life of Audrey Cunningham, is a perfect example of that. He was caught in bed with a 9-year-old girl, downgraded the charge to enticing a child, no registry. The next child that he essayed, he murdered, threw her in a river, tied to her naked body in the river, tied to a rock. And here's something that a lot of people don't know about that case. When that was going on, I was talking to her maternal grandparents. Her grandfather was so distraught by the entire situation that he had a heart attack and died. Seriously, he was at work. He was in his 50s. He was at work at a Walmart distribution center at a training. He had a heart attack and died. It's got to change. This is not okay. We can't let this keep happening. It's going to be a slow burning ship, or slow turning ship, but we can do it, guys. We can. People are saying, look, 60s for me, you weren't allowed to talk about it. Would have been shamed on your family's name. Somebody said here, in the 80s, I wouldn't have dared. I didn't tell anyone? No. In 1980, I wouldn't dare. And here's the thing. For everybody who's sitting here listening to this, for everybody here who's watching, look, guys, it wasn't your fault. You deserve better. You deserve better treatment. And I commend your bravery talking about it now online in front of strangers. I commend those of y'all who have come forward. And even for those of y'all who are still living with that trauma, you deserve better. You did. Victim, yeah, thank you for bringing this up. So Melissa here is actually really big into this case. She's in Stillwater. She's in Oklahoma. And yeah, so for some of these victims, and Jess, thank you for bringing this up, because I forgot about this, Melissa. 4 people in this case, for these victims in this case, some of them have had to hire lawyers to make sure that their case got properly handled. The victims, y'all, had to hire lawyers so their cases would get seen properly. That's not okay. That is never okay. It's not okay. It's just not. I'm going to refresh here real quick and see where we're at on YouTube. We hit that 60,000 mark. We are so good. I need 8 more YouTube people to hit 60,000, guys. 8 people want to jump over and do it. You'll be my best friend. I was told by the DA it's not worth it. They were athletes. This is not okay, because you all matter too. You all matter too. And it's just not, it's enraging. And here's the other thing I want to say too, while I'm waiting for these 8 more people, and I want to bring this up. So I did a video the other day, and I know that it set some people off for the wrong reason. If you are a male listening to this, then you're probably not one of the people that I'm talking about. But I'm going to tell you who one of the biggest groups of people who have a problem showing up. And it is people that look like me. Men. Men have a problem showing up for these things. And it's funny to me, because men love to say that we're the protectors, that we would do all this stuff, but when push comes to shove, they weren't at the protest. I will say this, though. My understanding is there were a lot of high school boys at that protest, standing up for their peers, for their classmates, but there were hardly any grown men. I see the statistics, I see the names of people who signed the petition, very few men. It seems to me that it is constantly women protecting women, women protecting children. And look, I realize that men are a lot of times the predators, but that's part of the problem too, isn't it? My friend Jim, and you all probably know who Jim is. Jim is Gabby Petito's bonus father, okay? Stepdad. My friend Jim took his family on a cruise, including his 16-year-old daughter. And some guys playing pool made some very inappropriate comments about a 16-year-old. You know what Jim did? He walked up to them and called them out for it, made them apologize, made them stop talking, let them know, the guy who made the comments, that this was a 16-year-old girl. And this guy was married, by the way. That this was a that this was a child. And then Jim turned to his friends. All right. And Jim said, you all are just as bad because you heard him making these comments. You knew he was married. You knew that she looks like a child, and you said nothing. Being silent is the same as protecting them. It's the same as enabling them. So for women, for men who are watching this, don't be afraid to call out other men. For women watching this, don't be afraid to call out your partners, because somebody, the issue that you have with situations like this, all right, is that for men who are predators, they don't respect women. So if a woman sits there and calls it out or says about something about the behavior, it doesn't mean anything. It falls on deaf ears because they don't value your opinion. But when another man calls them out, all of a sudden they get defensive. They back up. They try to backpedal. Right? That's what happens. So this is a call to action for the men in your lives, guys. Because I'm well aware that probably 90% of the people watching this live right now and people who watch it later are women. I feel very confident on that. Get your partners to participate, whether it's signing this petition, whether it's standing up, doing something. Because this toxic masculinity, the growing, I just saw an article about 1 in 3 boys don't respect women's rights at all, meaning like a your body, my choice kind of thing. Don't respect women's autonomy at all. Don't respect what they have to say. That is a growing problem. It's going to get worse if we don't fix it. And that's because a lot of these men are going to other incels. These boys are going to incels who are teaching them this stuff. So we need to do a better job protecting our kids. And again, it is 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys, 6 or 8 boys, depending on which study you look at. Still way too many that receive some type of SA before they turn 18 years old. And we have to stop it. We have to stop it. So those who are out there, do it. People asking about the petition, linked in my bio. If you are watching on TikTok or Instagram, you can go to the link in my bio. It is there. It is the change.org one. If you were watching this on Facebook or YouTube, it is in the show notes. I reached 6,000 or 60,000. Hey, thank you guys so much. All right. I'm going to pause that if we did. We did 60,005. Thank you guys so much. We made it. The other thing I want to do real quick, I saw, it looks like we had a super sticker. I'm the YouTube so good. So I want to thank you on this too. Thank you for the support. So a lot of work goes into this, and obviously I never asked for this, but it's always appreciated when they come through. So thank you, Jay Jackson, for that as well. Now, anyways, guys, I've been on my soapbox about this. This whole thing, I'm very angry about it. I'm a girl dad. I have a daughter, right? And all I want is a better world for her generation, better than what we had. I'm a millennial. Better than what Generation Z has, better than what Gen X had. I know you guys had it tough, and better than Boomers had. Boomers had it really tough. So I want it better than what we all had, and that's the goal, right? For the previous generation to try to make it better for the next. That's what we're supposed to do, right? Well, a lot of millennial dads and Gen Z dads are showing up and showing out. You need to show up and show out here too. You're not going to change the old ones. People who are set in their ways. But men, put your money where your mouth is. Sign the petition, or hell, don't even sign mine. Do something. Do something to call out these other guys. When you're online, you see these guys making inappropriate comments, call them out. Call them out. Anyways, I got to pick up my daughter from school. I appreciate y'all hanging out. There is more coming to this. We're going to be keeping you posted on this grand jury indictment that's coming through. I'm speaking with Representative Humphrey regularly. So as more information comes out, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But if you are in Payne County, make sure that you pay close attention. Make sure to join that Facebook group. Again, it's linked in the bio of the show notes here. If you walked in on TikTok, Instagram, anywhere else late, this whole live is from the very beginning on YouTube. You can go watch it. That being said, I appreciate every one of y'all. Have a great rest of the afternoon. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for getting fired up and passionate about this. we are gonna change. We're gonna change the way that this is handled. We just are. Have a good day, everyone.